right, so I was kind of scrolling through some articles the other day and came across one that struck me just because I work out, and I saw the article headline was, "Don't ever do 10 reps of anything." So when you see something like that, naturally you're curious. And I know it's written that way on purpose, but being the curious kind of guy that I am, I allowed myself to get suckered into, all right. I'll read the article. What do you mean? Obviously, you don't literally mean that, but what do you mean by don't do 10 reps of anything as it pertains to working out? So I open up the article, and it's this guy who was a bodybuilder who was giving advice to somebody who was a personal trainer, and was giving advice to this guy that had written the article. And he tells him this as advice because the guy writing the article was doing his, he'd load him up, and this is common in CrossFit and bodybuilding, is you get a certain amount of weight and you do 10 reps, and then you try and add a little bit more weight and you do 10 reps, or 3 reps. There are 3 rounds of 10 reps, 3 by 10, or a 3 by 5, or 3 by 5. Anyways, the guy's advice took him completely by surprise. Don't do 10 reps of anything. And he was, what do you say? What are you talking about? That's what you do. I mean, it's training. It's 10 reps, and then you're trying to get to add on 5 more pounds and then do 10 reps. I'm getting stronger. That's the program. That's what I do. And then the trainer explained the principle behind it. And this is what struck me as, okay, here's the insight. When we do 10 reps, or when we set out to do 10 reps, we limit ourselves to stop at 10. How do you know if you have a certain amount of weight on and your goal is to do 10 reps? How do you know you couldn't do 11? You didn't try. Or 12, or 13, or 20. You didn't try. You stopped at 10 because that's where you set the limitation. So what the guy was trying to teach was, don't set ourselves up with our own self-imposed limitations before we even start. That's what he was saying. So you set the weight on, and if you happen to stop at 10, because 10 is all you can do, and you're done, you're exhausted, you can't do another rep. Maybe you're doing back squats, and you're afraid if you go back down, you're just going to tip over. I felt that way. Then 10 is the number. But he's just saying, don't start out saying I'm going to do 10. That was his advice. Now, I know a lot of people do 10 reps and it's very successful with it. I'm not saying they're good, they're bad. What I got out of this was that there's a principle that we should be aware of, and that is stop setting limitations on ourselves. I think if we remove our own self-imposed limitations, I think we're capable of much more than we think than we would. I think we sell ourselves short all too often because we know ourselves better than anybody. We know all of our flaws and all of our stinking thinking and all of our insecurities and all of our weaknesses and all the things that we do wrong. We know those better than anybody in the world because we live with them every day. We wake up to them. We see them in the mirror. We carry them around with us. When we're in the car by ourselves, like I am right now, talking out loud, thinking, am I crazy? We are the ones that know ourselves better than anybody. And as such, I think because we are so uber aware of our weaknesses, I think we're the most likely to set ourselves up on a smaller goal and sell ourselves short. It just seems to make sense. I don't know if that's true. It's a theory. It's not been tested. So don't go do any Google research on me and say, hey, what? I'm just saying it makes sense that we sell ourselves short. So it seems to reason that we should be careful not to set our own limitations too low. That said, when you set a goal, you have to have clarity. You can't just say, make as much money as I can. That would be a way, if I'm going to lift weights and I say, okay, I'm not going to set 10 reps, I'm going to do as much as I can. Well, if I'm going to apply that in success, make as much money as I can is my goal for the year instead of I'm going to make 25% increase year over year from last year. You have to have parameters, but be aware. And I think what this article taught me was be aware that a lot of times we self-impose too low. we do. It needs to be realistic, but it needs to stretch you. It needs to be somewhere you haven't been before. A goal should stretch you. It should make you gasp just a little bit, right? Maybe even wet your pants just a little. You should be like, yeah, as you're writing it down. It should be like, yeah, okay, and then, you write it down. But a goal should be that right in there. That's a good place because that tells you you're stretching yourself into out of your comfort zone where all the great things happen. So anyways, just some of my thoughts. I know I got off track, but that article kind of struck me in an interesting way. I thought I'd share some of my thoughts with you. Before I go, have you been on 3by5goals.com? If you haven't, please, I invite you to come join me there. There's a program I've developed. I'd love to hear back from you. I'm not selling anything right now. I'm looking for feedback. In fact, if you sign up, I will be happy to mail you a 1-month supply of these cards that I use, so you can try it out for yourself and see what you think. I'd love feedback. I'm gathering feedback right now, kind of just testing and seeing how it's going. And if you're a goal setter or want to be a goal setter or an achiever or anybody interested in success at all, I think you'll really like what you see. The website outlines the program. It's got all kinds of resources. I also have a Facebook page, of course, this YouTube channel. Please comment, share, like, visit, refer, all you want. I invite, of course, all of that. And I hope these are helpful to what you're trying to do, get you closer to your goals and how you should set goals and different ways of thinking and so forth. So take that and have a wonderful, blessed day.